Grid is live. Initiate light cycle battle.
Welcome, foolish mortals.
For a safe trip, remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the cabin. Be sure to watch your children, and no smoking, please.
Welcome to the Pirates and Princesses podcast.
We're a different kind of Disney podcast. We do it our way.
We talk about Disney parks, Disney movies, TV, video games.
Anything Disney.
I'm your host, Tom Pratt.
And I'm your other host, Cambria Pratt.
Welcome back to the show, everyone.
Hello.
Hello. This episode of the podcast is going to be a little different than the ones we usually do. We're not going to be as upbeat as we usually are because, as most of you, I'm sure, well aware, Orlando's had a lot of tragedy this week, and we're going to talk about a lot of what's happened in the last few days, and I just felt like doing it in one podcast and dedicating one podcast to that was a better way to go than to follow it up with some upbeat news, because I don't think we're feeling very upbeat.
I will have one story at the end that's a little bit better, but
so where to begin?
Let's do it in the timeline. We'll do it chronologically.
Okay, well, it's currently Wednesday night.
You forgot what night it was on? Lots happened this week.
June 15th. So we're going to go back to, I believe it was Friday.
It was Friday.
Friday night. Christina Grimmie, who was a finalist.
She was in third place.
She was third place on The Voice, which I admit I've watched it a couple times, but I don't watch it very much. But she was murdered.
Yeah. After her concert.
After her concert in Orlando. And so I don't know the details so much about that. Someone was stalking her?
I think they're not really saying. This person, I think, came up from St. Petersburg, I think they said it was.
Okay.
And he was some 27-year-old Kevin, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Loib, I don't know. But anyway, she was doing a signing afterwards and talking to her fans, and he just showed up out of nowhere and took a gun out and shot her. And her brother tackled him to the ground, and when he tackled him, the guy shot himself and killed himself. So that happened on Friday.
That was Friday night, and that in and of itself would have been a horrible.
Yeah, and then
but it gets worse.
Well, Adam Levine was her coach on The Voice, so he's offered to pay for her funeral. And I know they had a GoFundMe set up to cover expenses and things, and they were doing that.
She's only 22.
22.
Wow.
Yep, she was a singer-songwriter. So that happened in Orlando on Friday. So yeah, okay, so that's pretty bad.
Yeah, so the city's reeling from that, and then
Saturday night. Well, Sunday early a.m., like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
So Sunday early Sunday morning. So you can go ahead and talk about what happened.
2 a.m. Sunday morning. I'm sure everyone has heard about this, but there was a shooting at a nightclub called Pulse. Mm-hmm. And it ended with 50 people being
49 and the 49 and the
dead,
shooter was dead, and then there was like 53 that were injured. And my mom said, I hadn't seen it, but my mom said that some of them, they said it's touch and go on whether or not they're gonna pull through. So
yeah, so this might not be over yet, but the shocking thing, I think, beyond the fact that this happened, which is, absolutely heinous. It's a heinous thing that happened. I'm sure a lot of Disney cast members probably went to that club.
They said there was one cast member that was killed.
Yeah, and definitely, thoughts and prayers go out to friends and family of the victims. It's a horrible thing to happen, but related to Disney, it came out afterward that the shooter, Omar Mateen, was actually scouting Disney properties.
Well, Disney Springs,
because the security is not there. Now, I'm
sure it's there now.
Yeah. Well, they have been beefing up security.
We talked about that way back in December.
Yeah, it was December.
That they were alerted as the possibility of attacks, and they raised their security considerably. They put in metal detectors and some other things now.
Yeah, and that would have been in response to. Now there was a rumor going around that there was a threat on Disney World in December, and I know Disney and Universal both on the same day ramped up security, so there had to have been some credibility.
Credible.
Yeah, but apparently the shooter at the Pulse was scoping out Disney Springs because it's wide open. I mean,
Well, I don't think it is now, but it was at the time.
well, I'm not sure what they're doing.
I'm sure they'll do something.
Well, they're going to have to. And, but, with Disney Springs, you don't need park admission. You can just, walk right in. And, I don't know what the deterrent was because apparently they have more police there now. I mean, we'll find out next month when we go down.
Yes.
But, so there's that. And I'm struggling to find words, for all of this. And I thought that, that was bad enough. I mean, it was.
Well, let's talk about what happened. After this, Disney is donating. The mayor. Let me find the information here. The Orlando mayor has started a One Orlando Fund, to raise money for the people, and Disney announced that it was going to give $1 million in cash donation to it, and it's also going to dollar for dollar match its Disney employees' donations.
Yeah, I know there's been a huge blood drive and
I think I was reading Disney too was also here. I was reading on this one on the Fox 35 Orlando. They said that they lost one of their own cast members, Gerald Arthur Wright. He was 31. And Disney employees have also been encouraged to donate blood at 5 locations on the property. And the company is providing complimentary hotel accommodations to family and friends of victims.
No, that's cool.
So they were doing that.
Yeah, I mean that just rocked. I mean, that story was the single largest mass shooting in U.S. history, and it happened, very very close to Disney. Well, it's about half an hour.
I think it says about half an hour.
Half an hour from Disney, but so the country, the city of Orlando is still reeling from that, and there's more bad news.
Yeah.
This week, and I can't imagine what they're going through down there right now.
So last night we're still all day Sunday and all day yesterday, and Tuesday, Tom was really really following the stories down in Orlando, and we were all upset about what happened. Yeah. And then last night I was on the computer and I was like, oh my god, are you kidding me? And then Tom's like, what? And so I showed him the new headline, which was a gator had taken a child at Grand Floridian. So Tom, we were watching it, immediately watching, follow what's going on, but go ahead and talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, this is one that really, it kind of exploded on social media. It was a blow by blow, and there was one gentleman who was staying at the Grand Floridian who kept taking photos. They're like, we don't know what's going on, but there are a bunch of police here, and they're down by the beach. But apparently what had happened was a little after 9 o'clock last night, the family was watching a movie on the beach, which, they do often at the resorts. And their little one, it was 2 years old, and he had gone to the water, and he was splashing around a little bit in the water. They say he wasn't in the water very far, and the next thing you know, he's grabbed by a gator and pulled into the water. The dad allegedly tried to wrestle the gator, and he wasn't able to free his son, and then search and rescue came in. But I was up late last night watching a lot of the live press conferences that they had, and last night was dark. Obviously the water's very very murky in the Seven Seas Lagoon, so they couldn't find anything, and so it all continued throughout the night. And then this morning, this is sort of, I know it didn't make Cam very happy, but they actually had found 4 or 5 gators, and they were looking for remains inside the gators.
I know. I just felt bad they killed gators.
Yeah, and eventually this afternoon they did find the boy. He was intact. He wasn't actually eaten by the gator, but he was drowned.
Well, that's what I said to Tom. The first thing I said wasn't, well, the gator didn't. The gator hadn't done that, then most likely the boy drowned because 2-year-olds are not going to be able to swim, especially if they're injured from the gator. So that's what happened. They found him about 12 to 15 yards from where he was. They were, he got lost from. And they said the dad jumped in the water and tried to wrestle the gator and couldn't do it. And I think they said the mom jumped in the water too. And they immediately went and got help. There were some people that were. Somebody said they saw the commotion from the window. They kind of saw what happened, and they said it literally took 30 seconds. It was the whole event took about 30 seconds, and the boy was gone. And I don't think anybody's really at fault here because, it wasn't like because people were bashing the parents, and I'm like it happened so fast. There was nothing those parents could have done. There's nothing they could have done. And they do have signs up that say no swimming. And now for me, being me, I take no swimming as don't go in the water. And I know people were talking on boards that they take no swimming as, well, you can walk in the water, but don't swim. Yeah. Well, I just would take that as don't go in the water.
That seems to be a point of contention with a lot of the journalists is why didn't the signs spell out more explicitly that, there were potentially alligators in the water. And apparently Disney knows that the gators are there.
But Disney does a lot to get them. I mean, what do they call it? The FWC, is that what it was?
The Florida Wildlife.
Yeah, my dad's cousin worked there for years, and he retired from there. But my mom was saying that they were on the news, and they were talking to them, and they said actually, as far as the parks go, Disney World's one of the best to work with because they take it seriously and they take care of things all the time to make sure that it's safe. Yeah. It's just that, but in Florida, people have gators in their swimming pools. I mean, they get into everything and there's not much you can do. I mean, there's no way, it's a man-made lagoon, but the gators still can get in. It has many branches off, tributaries and things that they can crawl through.
And that was, some other people were like, well, this is a man-made lagoon. Most of the waterways in Walt Disney World are actually man-made. Why are there alligators? Why doesn't Disney get rid of them? But like Cam said, I mean,
they do, but
Florida, you can have a swimming pool. It's free and clear one day and wake up one morning with an alligator in your swimming pool. I mean, it's just part of the ecosystem. And now they said for a while that gators weren't as common in Florida, but with tourism and people moving in, that they're sort of pushing the gators out of their natural habitats. So, I mean, but I mean, all told, it's still, I think I read it was like 28.
It's very rare
deaths by alligator, most of them in Florida in the last like 50 years.
Yeah, they said that up until last year, there hadn't been a fatality from an alligator since 2007.
Yeah, like
it's rare.
You're more likely to die in a car accident or even be struck by lightning than to be killed and eaten by an alligator.
Yeah, it's very, very, very rare. And they were saying, like, in this situation, too, that a lot of times the gators, they get to a certain size, they make sure they remove them for sure. But that under normal circumstances, this gator probably would never have attacked anyone, but because the child was little, it figured it could get the child. Like if they're adults, it wouldn't have bothered attacking.
Yeah, because gators are pretty lazy predators.
But they're fast.
Yeah,
and I don't people understand. Oh, gators are slow. No, gators are very, very fast when they want to be.
Yeah. So but it was pretty horrendous. I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, statistically, all of the things that happened in the last few days in Orlando don't happen very often. Oh. But they all happen back to back, and it's scary. I mean, it's really scary, and I know a lot of people, some of the boards I frequent are kind of like, this sort of, taints my wanting to go to Disney World. Like I really,
but it's not like this isn't Disney's fault. You know what I mean? I mean, they're arguing that it is about the alligator, but I mean, I don't think there's anything I don't think it's anybody's fault. I don't think the parents are at fault. I'm getting really mad when people are blaming the parents because there's nothing the parents could have done. I mean, they were right there, and he was even on the alligator. There's nothing they could have done. They're fast, and in Disney, they constantly were removing them, and even the FWC said Disney actually is very vigilant about it, and they take care of this stuff. And there should have been signs, I guess, that probably said about the alligator. I can see it, but most people understand that if there's water, there's alligators. I mean, there's video online of the alligators being at Splash Mountain in the water.
It wasn't a very big gator, but
they get
there.
in there. I mean, that's just the way it is in Florida. So I don't really think it's anybody's fault.
No. Now, I mean, one thing I will add here, and this is, coming from Florida natives who have voiced opinion many times online, the message forums. They're like, don't feed the wildlife.
Yeah.
Don't feed the wildlife, because what happens is it draws them to people, because normally they would be afraid of people. And, it's one thing that most people who live in Florida know. You don't feed alligators. You don't want the alligators coming anywhere near you. And with all these tourists coming in,
people were saying that they've seen a lot of people feeding the gators by like the Polynesian, and and then they just come up to people because they're like, oh, they associate people with food, not in necessarily in a good way. So,
because normally a gator, I mean, if you've got that many people on the beach waiting for fireworks,
and the fireworks themselves, it would scare the gators away.
They wouldn't come to the beach.
But in this situation. And then one thing that I was very upset about was I didn't see the press conferences with the shooting at the club. I just saw the one today about the little boy, and I was so upset because we were watching on the Orlando Sentinel. They had a live. They were going to stream the press conference live, and while we're sitting there watching it, it was very upsetting because they had the microphone set up and all the reporters were milling around, and they're all laughing and joking around, and I'm like, there's a baby who is missing, and at that point they were sure he was dead, and they were like sitting there telling jokes, and I understand, they probably desensitized to it because of what they do, but it was really upsetting. And then you could hear the comments they're making because the microphones were on, and they were making comments you said last night about, well, that's going to be a good headline and stuff like that.
I watched the first press conference. It was about, I don't know, like 12:30ish, I think, last night. And there were some reporters standing around yucking it up, making jokes. I couldn't make out everything that was being said, but just kind of like something about the headlines, and which is sickening. I mean, it really is. I mean, as far as being desensitized to that, as someone who spent a good chunk of his career working for newspapers and dealing with tragedies, somebody who was actually there the night Flight 800 went down. And
you were there when they told the parents.
I was there when they told the family. There was no laughing. There was no joy. It was one of the most horrible nights I've ever had to.
You said you'll never forget the sounds.
No, and to just go from that to, now granted this was 20 years ago, but to go from that to a bunch of reporters just standing around yucking up when there's a child missing, presumed dead, I just found to be, and
a baby at that, like a 2-year-old is a baby. And it was that upset me too, because they were just kind of like, I mean, I'm not saying everybody should be, all somber, but I'm also like, well, yeah, there's a baby, there's a baby dead.
You should be. I mean, this is not, I don't get. And then you've got these other sites, these clickbait websites that are, capitalizing on.
Here's a list of all the people who've died on Disney proper and everything else. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, I know.
Mean, this was unnecessary.
I mean, that's the world we live in now. It's all sensationalism, and it's all. And I think a lot of the accusations being flung, at Disney as far as, what they should or shouldn't have done is because everybody likes, I mean, the media likes to give Disney a black eye.
Well, speaking of media being sickening, how about the lady that posted?
Oh, there was a Twitter user, I don't remember her name, I don't care, she's not worth remembering, who posted a picture of the crocodile from Peter Pan with the caption, meanwhile, the Grand Floridian, hashtag, too soon.
Yeah.
And she was a journalist or a producer for an ABC affiliate in New York. And she went private on her account because I think a lot of people called her out on that, and or her employers found out about it because apparently somebody posted it on their Facebook page and they said that they'd be taking care of it. So
yeah, because I mean that was really
that I can't even fathom. I mean, are we really? I mean, as a people, are we really that desensitized to suffering?
No, I wasn't sensitized. I spent most of my night crying.
Everything becomes a joke.
I spent most of my days crying the last few days because there's just one horrible thing after another, and I can't believe people. I just can't.
I mean, there were some awful memes going around about it, and I'm not even gonna go there with the Paul's nightclub.
It's unbelievable. I mean, but anyway, as a response to this, one thing that Disney has done is all their jokes in the Jungle Cruise attraction about children and crocodiles, about the watch their children or the crocodile whale, that kind of thing. They took them out. I don't know if it's a permanent or just a temporary thing, but they took them out, in respect to the tragedy, and they took it out of their Jungle Cruise spiel they do.
Yeah, and I don't blame them for that, and I actually wouldn't be surprised if it was gone permanently. So it's if nothing else, it's.
But I mean, what's this mean about going to Disney? And I know people are canceling and stuff for it.
Well, yeah, we know, and I'll tell you how we know, because we
don't want our daughter to know, so keep it a secret, but she won't hear this, so go ahead.
Well, she might, but Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, is she in the other room?
Yeah.
We had a ridiculously hard time getting an appointment in Magic Kingdom.
It wasn't. That's normal, because you usually book out months ahead.
And that was, a week or two before the shootings. The day after the shootings, I called, not because I'm thinking to myself,
they just said to call back every day.
They said to call back, so I'm like, it's Monday. You know what? Let's try to be happy, try to be excited about this trip, and let's call again. And the cast member I got was actually very surprised that there were several openings for the boutique
in the Magic
Kingdom, and she said there shouldn't be. And the only thing I can think is that people are starting to cancel their trips, and there were several people on the forums that said that they were going to go this month or next month, and they're not going.
Well, let me just say a couple things here. One, the alligator incident is so random, and I mean, they're there, yes, but as long as you are paying attention and you're careful, that shouldn't be a concern.
No.
You should be fine. Just be, really careful about what you do, mind where you're going. I'm sure Disney's going to be putting some more protective measures in place about it. I think you'll be okay. So if you're letting that deter you, I wouldn't, because they've been there the whole time. It's very rare this happens. And people over Florida, like I said, until last year, there wasn't a fatality from alligator since 2007. So you're most likely okay. As far as the shooting is concerned, yes, Disney they said they were targeting Disney Springs, potentially. And we know that Disney had known about potential threats clear back in December, and they already have put a lot of things into play. I'm sure we know that there's officers in the parks. Sure
people have been talking about, now we haven't been there in a while, but people have been talking about the security being ramped up.
Yeah, there's metal detectors.
Like you feel it. There are officers on like every street corner.
Yeah, there's and I'm sure it's not just the plainclothes officers at Disney. I'm sure that the FBI and things like that are also present somewhere. I wouldn't let it deter you from going, because quite frankly, people are getting shot at the mall. People are getting shot any place, and if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. So I wouldn't let it deter you. I really wouldn't, because I guarantee you they're going to do everything in their power to make sure that you're safe.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, Disney is, we said it before, and unfortunately it, kind of came to pass that it's a target. It's a huge target, because it's a place where Americans go, people from all over the world go to have fun. And, people would love to disrupt that, to make you feel unsafe in what's supposed to be one of the happiest places on earth. But I mean, they're aware of it. I think someone said that Disney is probably the safest place to be right now because of the sheer amount of security. They're actually anticipating being a target. I mean, I hope to God I'm right, but I don't foresee there being any problems there while the security is ramped up. Again, I hope I'm right, but I mean, that being said, it's hard to, I mean, we're going down next month, and it is going to be hard to go by the lagoon and not think about this. It's going to be hard to be in Orlando and not think about the shootings and the murder. It's just been a really, really hard.
Well, then to add on top of it, when you're reading all things about Orlando, then one of our close family friends passed away also unexpectedly.
Yeah, and that was Sunday.
So we didn't find out about it till Monday.
Yeah.
So it was not a good few days, and we had a person, we do a lot of shows, and his name was Denny, and he was a magician in Bonar. So he was the sweetest man you'll ever meet. I mean, he was just, I can't picture a man sweeter than Denny. And something happened. We don't know for sure what happened, but he passed away too. So it's been a very sad several days here.
Yeah, it has been. I mean, we're not trying to have the downer cast, but I mean, I think it's disingenuous to pretend you're happy to put on a smiley face if things are not.
I'm just keeping
good.
it together for the podcast because, I mean, as Tom will tell you, I've been crying a lot about all of it. And then another thing that'll make you tear up, but it's a good thing, was this was before this is after the shooting, but before the little boy incident. I saw this, and it's a really sweet story. It was on June 14th. They posted it, but it happened like last week. And I guess I'm going to read it to you. I guess this is a family from UK. And it said, this is Chip and Company had it on there. It said, in the wake of the bad news in the world and all the guests complaining about this and that and other things that didn't go right during their Disney vacation, it's nice to see a post of appreciation. A Speller family was visiting from the UK, and the dad posted about what happened when they were there. He said, my family and I were on holiday in Florida and we went to Disney's Magic Kingdom. One of the Disney park employees found us the perfect spot to watch the Disney parade in the disabled section, as my little girl is disabled. We said thank you to him, and he bent down to our little girl, and he asked if she was having a good day and who her favorite characters are. And with that, he waved goodbye and walked off. And just as the parade was about to start, he came back with a bag in his hand, and he said to my daughter that Mickey Mouse wants you to have this. My little girl opened the bag. To her amazement, was a Mickey and Minnie Mouse cuddle toy. And they were all, I think, the little plushies. And we were all surprised. Our little girl was just bursting with joy. And once the parade had finished, this employee came again and asked my daughter if she had met his boss. And to our astonishment, he had arranged for the whole family to meet the one and only Mickey Mouse. The employee's name was Gerard, and we want this post shared because Gerard didn't know that our little girl is going blind due to a rare genetic condition called Cohen syndrome. He said, Gerard, not only did you touch our hearts with your kindness and compassion, but you have created a memory for our daughter that will last a lifetime. Thank you. So I'm trying not to cry. So with all the bad things, there's still good things. And Disney, I mean, they go out of their way to, I mean, one of the things that we like so much about it is the fact they do go out of their way to be kind and to make things, good. And then other people commented afterwards, oh, Gerard, we know Gerard, and they're posting stories about him. They recognize him from different things he did to help them, or different things they saw him do working there, and awesome things that Gerard does. So go Gerard. Maybe we'll get to see you, and go you. And just, I mean, it's terrible, all these bad things, but there's still, good things too. Yeah.
It's just been a really unfortunate week, and I'm not even gonna pretend that I know what these people are going through.
Oh no, I have no idea. And I mean, and people making the comments with the parents, no matter what you say to those parents, they are going. There's nothing you can say to them to punish them more than they're going to punish themselves. And they didn't really do anything wrong. So I mean, toddlers move quick, and so do alligators.
And even with the nightclub, I mean, why would you think?
No, you wouldn't think it was.
Why would you think? And apparently, this guy he attended the clubs. I mean, he was there for years, so they knew him. It wasn't like some stranger just walked in and So I mean, I can't sit here and pretend that I know what anybody is actually going through.
No, it wouldn't, and we wouldn't insult people by trying to pretend that we knew.
But definitely, our thoughts and prayers are with all the victims this week, and hopefully, time will heal some of that.
I don't think nothing can make things better. I'm sorry.
I know. But anyway.
Well, hopefully we'll be more.
I don't even know how to end this one.
I don't either, but hopefully next time we'll be more upbeat. But this is just
not a good week.
It's a sad cast.
Yeah, but I guess my advice for anyone is just life is short. Hold on to those good memories.
You never know,
because you never know how many you're gonna have. And God bless, and
don't let it deter you from doing what going to Disney and doing what you want to do.
Don't let it deter you from trying to make some good memories, because you never know how much time you have to make those. So, okay, well, I think we're gonna let people go.
Okay, hopefully people listened. But
Hopefully they listened. I don't know if people want more bad news or opinions.
yeah, I know
or
I don't like
anything.
bad news. So
All right. Well, take care, everybody.
okay, bye.
Bye. Pirates and Princesses is a production of Clownfish Studios. We are an unofficial Disney podcast, not endorsed or affiliated with the Walt Disney Company. You can visit us on the web at piratesandprincesses.net. That's piratesandprincesses.net. You can shoot us an email at piratespodcast@gmail.com. That's piratespodcast@gmail.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you for listening and have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.